Heritage Month is here, and it's a time when we learn about our island Jamaica, who we are as a people, what we stand for, and let's never forget our heroes who fought for us and our freedom. I'm Theodore Henry, and your favorite magazine program starts right now.
Tip number 1. Keep your regular medication and other supplies well stocked. Ensure there is access to several weeks of medications and supplies in case there is a need for you to stay home. Monitor food and other medical supplies needed and create a plan in the event that such resources become depleted. Tip number 2. Stay sanitized. Tip number 3. Respond to multi-generational living situations. Many older adults live in homes where other members, such as children, may have frequent colds. Therefore, do not share personal items like food, water bottles, and utensils. If possible, choose a room in your home that can be used to separate sick household members from those who are healthy. Tip number 4. Develop intentional caregiver plans. Older adults may be caregivers or may receive care themselves. Caregivers and care recipients should discuss their preparation plans, including how to stay in touch via phone or email. Determine who can provide you with care if your caregiver gets sick. And tip number 5. Keep abreast of essential up-to-date information. That means you should find and regularly check a trusted information source.
As parents, we're all living through this period of uncertainty. Here are 3 tips that I believe will help you to get through the challenges. 1. Control your anxieties. There's a whole lot of information out there, so it's important that you limit the amount of information that you consume. Fact check. Trust only the authentic, reliable sources. 2. Ask your children what they know. Listen for their answers and clear up whatever misconceptions they have. It is important that you reassure them. And 3, validate their feelings. If your children tell you that they're scared or they're frightened, let them know that it is okay. But continue to provide that love and reassurance so they know that they will get through.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. Homeschooling has always been commonplace in Jamaica, having been regulated by the Independent School Unit, ISU, in the Ministry of Education and governed by the Education Act of 1965. However, with the increase in cases of COVID-19, many persons may be thinking of homeschooling their children. But do you have everything in place to carry out what could be a life-changing project for your child? Today we are joined by Secretary of the Jamaica Association of Homeschoolers, Judy Lee Panton, and she will help us through this process. Mrs. Panton, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Let us start with a little background to your association.
Okay, so the association was formed in 2013 by a very small group of parents, and it has definitely mushroomed into something that, of course, prior to COVID, it has been growing steadily, but definitely with the advent of COVID, quadrupled even.
Right.
So we are now at our Facebook page, which is a closed page, features about 700, in excess of 700 members. So we work in partnership with the Ministry of Education, not necessarily governed by them.
So who is recommended for homeschooling? And why would we homeschool our child if you're not governed by the Ministry of Education?
Well, the Ministry of Education has its own sets of guidelines for homeschoolers. So it is recommended that a homeschool family who wishes, or our family who wishes to homeschool, definitely visits the independent schools unit and engage in the discussion with them and the application process with them. However, the Association of Homeschoolers, just for short, is primarily responsible for the educational and social support of our members. So we provide support in relation to the curriculum, guiding our families and especially parents in the process, through the homeschooling process. We facilitate socialization activities for the children who are being homeschooled. So it definitely serves a purpose to the community itself.
Who would you recommend for homeschooling?
Okay, so we recommend any parent who is committed to the growth and the holistic education of their child. It definitely requires discipline from the parent. It requires that the parent you may not have the time to teach yourself, but you definitely need to be aware of what you expect from your child's education. And so you don't necessarily, from our experience in the community, you don't necessarily have to be a trained teacher. However, the other teaching skills that are not necessarily taught in the institutions are definitely necessary for the homeschool journey.
You do not have to be an educator to homeschool your child.
No,
Tell me about that.
So I myself, I did my degree in international relations with a minor in psychology. And several parents, families within our community have been homeschooling for years without a teaching degree. And we have found that it is the other skills that we are called upon to exercise as we go through the homeschooling process. It's really how to juggle, how to work through the kinks of interacting with the children at the different ages and so on, that really makes for an efficient and effective homeschooling experience.
Yes. But in our society, you have to pass your CSEC, your CAPE, and your CSEC subjects. How do you ensure that happens? Because it's not just about being fulfilled; it's about passing the exams that will make you do what you need to do here to get a job or to go on to university.
Yes. And so there are varying levels of exams, first of all, that a homeschool family can participate in. And therefore, it depends on the specific family, what your goals are, your educational goals are. And there are several options available for you. Within the homeschool community, you yourself, the parent, doesn't have to be the one to impart the educational information to the child. And in fact, that is just one element of the homeschooling journey. So you find that you can have a tutor come in and teach the child. You have homeschool pods or homeschool co-ops, which are basically groups of families that come together groups of families can come together with one tutor. That would be called a pod. And in the case of the co-op, those are just families that come together and teach different subjects based on their personal competencies and the areas that they're efficient in.
Right. So do you follow the curriculum from the Ministry of Education?
And that is a choice. Definitely the ministry provides its free of charge. It's curriculum free of charge. It's accessible on their website. So if you choose to use that's fine, okay with you. But there are several others that are approved by the ministry for you to use.
Okay. Well, we take a break now. When we come back with more information on homeschooling, please stay with us. Welcome back to Get the Facts. We're talking about homeschooling with Secretary of the Jamaica Association of Homeschoolers, Trudy Lee Panton. All right, tell me, exactly what is the process? So I've decided I want to homeschool my child or children. What do I do?
Okay. Well, there are, from our perspective as a community, there are several steps that you can take. From the ministry's perspective, however, the official process involves you visiting them, getting your application documentation together, and going, after completing that information, you hand it in. There will be an informal interview process. And of course, the ministry has their own standards and expectations in relation to how they provide approval and so forth. And they also engage in an inspection process, which is very facilitatory, and it allows for the families who are doing this for the first time definitely to get a better feel of what is expected and so forth. From the JAS position, or the association's position, we definitely encourage that the families that they express a commitment to homeschooling and to their children in particular. Because as you notice with the COVID, there have been some issues that parents have been experiencing with school at home, where it is difficult for them to engage in the lessons with the children, and they're realizing that children are actually, they really didn't know their children. They really did, because they wouldn't have spent, significant hours daily with their children. And so we definitely recommend as an association that before you get into the heat of it, that you take some time, relax, do your research. What is homeschooling? What is the right homeschooling technique and procedure for you? There are several different sites out there that can help you to understand the learning style of your child, to help you to understand the process better. Right. And so do your research. We encourage that. We also encourage that families establish a proper routine, a proper schedule that functions well for them, not one that is preset or standardized. You work with the schedule that is best for your family, because a frustrated teacher is an awful one, and that is definitely the case in a home school. So those are some of the things that we encourage. We also do encourage to become a part of a support system like JAS. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be, but we have an established community where we provide support in any area that you can think of as it relates to homeschool.
What are the advantages, are there?
There are lots. There are definitely a lot, and I mean, time wouldn't allow. But I mean, the cost is one definite benefit. So
less?
Yes, it is definitely less. I mean, imagine 6 children going to school, the bus fare for all of them, the lunch money, the school fees, the uniforms, and all of the things that are wrapped up in educating a child. That is definitely curtailed a great deal with the homeschooling process. I mean, I buy one textbook and everybody shares the textbook.
Right. So I'd like to have my child homeschooled for now, the period that we're experiencing this pandemic, and then I want to integrate my child back into regular school system. How does that work?
Okay, so once you apply through the ministry, that a part of the application process does facilitate that, because you will receive, at the end of the process, you'll receive an SRS card, which is supposed to ensure that you are able to sit external exams whether through a school or some other exam center that will be provided to you. The ministry will inform you a bit more directly to that.
Okay, so you would arrange that for the parent?
The ministry definitely does arrange that.
So the parent applies, does the homeschooling, the child does the homeschooling, and then at the end of that period, they would go back to the Ministry of Education, who would tell them how the next move. So they'd probably do a test and then...
So once they have completed the application and they are aware of they would make themselves aware of the different ages that they need to sit exams, etc. So they definitely, when the time comes at the right age, they would simply go into the ministry and they will do their necessary applications for the exam, and they will be able to sit the exam from a school that they that is approved.
Yes, yes.
So and then at the CXC level, that is done independently. You don't necessarily need the ministry's instructions for that.
Any negatives?
I can't think of any
Any,
yet.
yes,
I've been doing
yes.
it for 6 years, and I mean, the benefits have certainly outweighed anything that could be a negative. I mean, it is stressful, and it
Right.
does require a lot.
Right. So you have an oversight body, right?
Yes.
That will be guiding each family, and you have contact with the constant contact with the Ministry
yes,
of Education.
definitely. Yes.
Yes, to
yes.
ensure that the children are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Right. Okay. So as we wrap, tell us, give our parents some advice.
The advice for parents who choose to homeschool: relax. That's my first advice. Relax. It's not about standardized tests and classrooms and spaces that you need to outfit to be a class, because learning takes place anywhere.
So you need to have the right atmosphere at home.
Definitely.
And you need to be linking with the Ministry of Education
Yes.
to get the process
Yes.
done. And then
do your research.
And do your research.
Yes.
And then you're an oversight body, so you will help them.
Yes, we definitely
Yes.
guide our members through the process.
Okay.
And it's very easy to be a member, actually.
Tell us.
So you can email us at jamaicashomeschoolers@gmail.com, or you can contact us through, we have two contact numbers, 317-9643 or 317-9639. So any one of those options, you can contact us. We can share more with you.
Thank you so much. Lots more to talk about.
A whole
That's
lot.
all the time we have. This has been Get the Facts. Our guest was Secretary of the Jamaica Association of Homeschoolers, Trudy Lee Panton. Until next time, when Get the Facts brings you, as always, more pertinent and important information. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. Thank you so very much for watching, and take good care.
Are you aware of how Jamaican adolescents use social media? What do they do online? What do they post? Do you know if they are being harassed? These are questions you should be asking yourself, because it is your duty to keep your children safe online. Parents, here's what you need to do. Be active online and offline. Help your child to set up his or her online profile. Make sure you familiarize yourself with the different social media applications that they use and set some rules. Protect our nation's children and save them from cybercriminal attacks.
Cybercriminal activities are on the rise, affecting the lives of people worldwide, resulting in a need to increase the awareness of all citizens. The ever-increasing popularity of social media platforms and its dark side has prompted the Stop, Think, Connect campaign.
Stop, Think, Connect brings out general safety practices, and we encourage persons to stop and think. Actually, you find at times you're going to post a selfie, for example, and you take that selfie. We encourage you to stop and think before you actually post that selfie. Is it necessary to post? Do the people really need to see this? Do I really need to post this? What effect can it have in the future?
Stop, Think, Connect is not just geared towards our personal use of the internet. It should be incorporated in our work lives as well.
Cybersecurity in the workplace is everyone's business. A lot of institutions worldwide, and Jamaica is not excluded from this, have been impacted by ransomware and other malware. A lot of times what we find is that it's that end user that clicked on an email link, an attachment, or went to a website that they shouldn't have. We have to make an effort now to not only educate users, but actual persons at all levels within institution to be aware of the threat that is out there. Because when an organized cybercrime is coming, it's usually targeted at critical infrastructure.
Critical infrastructure such as energy, water, telecoms, and media are just some of the targeted areas. Ignore pop-ups when they appear on your computer and never trust emails from questionable sources. By opening any of the following, you may be giving a virus a free access pass to your devices. There are several antivirus and anti-malware software on the market. Use them. And also remember to keep your private information private. Passwords, driver's license, national identification number, traveling and banking information should not be saved on public computers. Cybersecurity is our shared responsibility. Let's play our part. Stop, think, connect.
Solid waste management is a critical component of curtailing local transmission of COVID-19. As householders strive to keep their homes and frequently used surfaces clean, domestic garbage collection is now even more important. The National Solid Waste Management Authority (NSWMA) has called on citizens to partner with the agency in taking all measures possible to contain the spread of this virus. The recommended actions to support the sanitation crews are securing household garbage by properly bagging, tying, and placing in a container for collection, double bagging garbage containing tissue, gloves, face masks, and diapers, placing storage receptacles at the front of the premises where they can be accessed without hindrance 24 hours per day. Persons with uncollected garbage are also encouraged to contact the agency through the following media. Call toll-free at 888-CLEAN-JA, that's 888-253-2652, or WhatsApp 876-448-3220, or email nswma@nswma.gov.jm. Visit the agency's website www.nswma.gov.jm and reach out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The NSWMA continues to work closely with the Ministries of Local Government and Health to ensure the welfare of employees and the citizens of Jamaica.
Jamaica having a national flower is sometimes confused as the national tree. Today we'll learn more about our national flower and what makes it stand out above the rest.
Christopher Columbus saw it here when he came. It means wood of life in Latin. It's world-renowned for its medicinal, ornamental, and industrial properties. But round these parts, it's known as the Lignum vitae, the island's national flower.
It is a tree that is native to Jamaica, it's native to Cuba, basically the Greater Antilles and parts of Central America. Its native habitat is pretty much dry alluvial type plains. It also grows in well-drained limestone areas.
This short, compact tree takes over 100 years to grow up to 30 feet tall. Due to its luminous purple-blue flower, alluring orange-yellow fruit, evergreen foliage, and attractive rounded shape, the tree dots across the Jamaican landscape, shading many houses, streets, and complexes. Since time immemorial, the Lignum vitae has been touted as the most useful tree in the world.
It produces a gum, and that gum used to be regarded as highly favored for medicinal uses.
Its body, gum, bark, fruit, leaves, and blossom are used to produce medicine. In colonial times, resin from the tree was used as a mild laxative and as a diuretic. The leaves were used as a remedy for respiratory, inflammatory, congestion, and neurological disorders. Its bark eases pain from sprains, strain, rheumatism, and arthritis. And I'm sure many Jamaican homes still ward off flies with its branches.
Its most noted feature is the wood. Because it's slow growing, it's very, very dense. And that density and the weight of it gives it a number of industrial uses.
That's because the lignum vitae is infused with an oil which makes it waterproof. It's ranked as the world's densest, hardest, and most durable traded wood. In addition to being used for making exquisite furniture, the lignum vitae was used to insulate trolley cars for the rail industry. The wood also made the propeller shaft bearings of most ships back in the day. Lignum vitae wood is also ideal for these creations. The lignum vitae is truly the holy grail of plants.
It's always beautiful in Jamaica. Everything usually be green and pretty. We have beautiful water. Temperature that is normal temperature, the water never cold. We've been into business for about 13 years. JUSC-COOL, just cool. It's spelled with 3 0. We make 3 different types of pudding. We make potato, we make cornmeal, and we make total. This is the cornmeal, okay? That's actually almost the last process. What he's gonna do now is gonna put a gel on top. Within no time, he has to take it off because the gel give it a nice taste. We have people like Shelley and Fraser came here. We have, you could name the biggest artists, Shabba Ranks, name them all. Being the Man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it's bringing them back to the old days. The long time days when they was kids growing up and they used to sit on the fire and watch their mama or their grandmother bake the pudding. We try not to change off our roots, we try to keep it that way. And not only that, we have a lot of love because we're all about love.
This is where the magazine ends for today, but if you would like to see more content like this, then visit our YouTube page. We also have all the latest news and updates on our social media pages and on our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.